IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100+ globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100+ global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500+ multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100+ authorized training partners and 50+ universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000+ members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council.
Hello everyone. We'll be starting a session shortly as more participants are joining us, so stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone.
Your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100+ globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100+ global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500+ multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100+ authorized training partners and 50+ universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000+ members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices.
All right. Hello, everyone. We'll be starting the session shortly. Just allow me a minute so I can share my screen. All right. Thank you very much for joining. I hope my screen is visible to you all. And again, I welcome you all to Global Skill Development Council's GSDC Certified Learning Mastering SRE for Scalable and Resilient System. As you all must be aware that we have this incredible panel of speaker aligned for this entire webinar series, which is started from 1st September and which will be there till 12th September. So do join us for the remaining session as we do have this panel, and the time slot would be the same one, that is 8:30 a.m. Central and 9:30 p.m. Singapore time. So do join us for the remaining session. And I'm very happy to announce that today we'll be having Raymond with us, and he'll be presenting the topic that is elevating to DevOps and DevSecOps practice for the next generation of its solution. So before I could hand over the session to him, I would love to introduce our hosting organization, GSDC. So we known as Global Skill Development Council. We are vendor agnostic, vendor neutral. We are globally recognized certification body, and we are accredited by ANSI and ABICB. We do have 100 plus certification portfolio with us. Also, we have certified more than 250,000 professionals worldwide. Also, 500 SMEs, they work with us closely to design our deliverables, and their affiliates from top universities like Stanford, MIT, Harvard. Also, we are associated with 1,000 multinational corporates and 500 Fortune companies with us, and 50 plus universities across the globe. And it's very proud thing to say that we do have 100 plus authorized training partner across the globe. We do have partner in Asia, Africa, Canada, and many other countries. So would love to thank you those who have joined us through our training partner channel. If you're looking for any training program for yourself, I'll be sharing the link in the chat box. So you can reach out to our training partner to inquire about the training courses that you are looking for. A special thanks to our official media partner, World Press Hub, who covers all our events and press releases. As I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, that we do have 100 plus certification portfolio, which includes certification on generative AI, agentic AI, learning and development, PMO professionals, certifications regarding ISO, generative AI in cybersecurity, these 10 compliance, and project management. So if you're looking for any of this certification in order to upskill yourself, you can get in touch with our learning advisor to get more information. Also, you can visit our website to check all the offerings, that is www.gsdcouncil.org. So what benefits you'll be getting with this certification? You'll be having lifelong membership with the GSDC, and with a certificate upgrade, you'll be getting certificate upgrade, and you'll be having access to all our events, workshop, boot camps, and guess what? You'll be having access to all our exclusive learning programs that we do offer. Along with that, you'll be getting implementation resources, speaker invites, and newsletter. Isn't it great? To grab this opportunity and sign up yourself for this amazing certification programs. So without any further delay, would love to tell you all more about our today's speaker, Raymond. He has a 25 years of experience in IT infrastructure and 21 years in cybersecurity. Raymond is a renowned IT expert, trainer, and innovator. He specializes in multi-cloud architecture, AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, OpenStack, high performance computing, DevSecOps, embedded system, and AI driven solution. A passionate mentor, he has trained generations of IT professionals and delivered cutting edge solution where other could not. He is also an international speaker on cybersecurity, automation, IoT, and HPC technologies. Let's give him a warm welcome. Thank you very much, Raman, for joining us today. You can take the virtual mic over. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Pritam. Can I share my screen?
Sure, you can.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. One moment, please. Hello from Paris. So if you hear my accent, it's a French accent. One moment. Right. Can you see my slide right now? Right,
Yes, Raman, we can see it. Yes.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Okay. First, thanks a lot to attend this webinar. We will talk about DevOps and DevSecOps methodology, which requires currently with all new regulation and the new compliance to design solution, application, or to deploy also infrastructure around the world. Example, like in Europe, if you want to work in a banking businesses or for a financial organization, you have to be a DevSecOps engineer to enable you to work in a DORA environment. Maybe some of you have already heard about the Digital Operational Resilience Act. It is the new European regulation. It requires the security by design engineering on each task, on each deployment, on each development in a financial environment while you work in European Union country. Okay, that's why today we will see together what is these methodologies concretely. Okay, and why we talk about the next generation of IT solution. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Raymond Razafimamunji. Yes, I'm an IT infrastructure expert and auditor. I'm also a DevSecOps engineer and a NoOps senior architect. I will explain you later what means NoOps. I am also a C developer engineer. That includes, of course, the real-time engineering. I developed one of the known Linux distribution for French and European community since 2002, which called Gen 2 Linux, which is a meta distribution Linux. I am also a supercomputer, or we can call it also a high performance computing, or HPC, and augmented intelligence research engineer. I've co-created the only one French, sovereign French, and the only one sovereign European supercomputer, or HPC, called Julio Curie. Okay, right now, if you want to know more about me, you can use this to send you on my LinkedIn, and you can know about my background, about everything on me. Okay, so let's start. Let's focus on the topics, not on me. Okay, what is DevSecOps? First of all, to introduce DevSecOps, we will start with DevOps. And why DevOps? Before DevOps also, we will start, we will make an historic about the DevOps methodologies. Okay, we will talk about DevOps. Then we will talk about risk analysis, then the DevSecOps, and the run, and the continuous improvement. Okay, why the DevOps methodologies? Okay, previously, in IT infrastructure or in IT development environment, we didn't have yet DevOps methodology. Even it already exists before the invention of this word. Because yes, for sure, there was already automation before. There was already continuous improvement before. The daemon wheel, which include the PDCA methodology, was invented in 1950. It didn't wait for DevOps in 2008 to show us what is the PDCA daemon wheel. Okay. But previously, in IT infrastructure, as a best practice, we used to, everyone knows ITIL methodology. Previously, we worked with ITIL version 3. With ITIL version 3, work it with waterfall methodology or V-cycle methodology, if I translate it very well in English. Okay, it was a rigid methodologies, which contains 3 distinct environments for each engineer. On each environment, we had the design environment for development engineer. That means for the build environment. Then we have another team for test and qualification engineering department. We called it, and we separated the build environment from the text and the qualification environment to avoid any conflict of interest. And then to validate after test, after qualification, before to put environment on production or on operations environment, called also ops, we make a validation test with business before the integration. Before, in IT environment, in IT infrastructure, we have had 4 distinct environments for 4 separated engineering departments. So previously, in IT methodology, when we build a project, example for only one project, to build first the project, we required architect. Architect, the main role of the architect is only to build. When architect finish the prototype, then this prototype will be tested with technical validation. Even the technical validation pass, it's required also the qualification validation, which require if it's reply on the business requirement. That means the UX and the UI interface. Yes, if everything match, we can send, and if everything match also with compliance or with any regulation, we can put this application or this design or this infrastructure on production environment. Then we monitor it. But during this methodology, we have had 4 different people separated to avoid any conflict of interest. Those guys were managed by a project manager. And to ensure that everyone follow this rule, this best practice of ETIL methodology, there's only a guy who acted as a methodology officer, which who called PMO, Project Manager Officer. The main role of PMO is to ensure that everyone respects the rule and everyone respects the methodology to build and to deploy the project. Yes, this project has a rigid process. It's required many times. If we fail, example, in production environment, we have to return back the process from the change. The change means we have to go back again to the design environment. After we made the change, we have also to validate first again in a qualification and in a test technique before a new validation, then we integrate later the production environment. Yes, to organize team like this is much expensive. We need 6 people to build only one project, and it's make a long time. We spent money. It's not flexible. It's a rigid methodology. So later, people, the owner, the boss of a company, think first, aim first to save money. When we talk about save money, that means we have to reduce employee. To reduce employee, that means to replace also employee. To replace any task which is able to be automated. So this is the introduction of automation. And when people is flexible, we just say to people, be agile. Agile means to be flexible. Okay. So we include the DevOps. What is DevOps? DevOps is the fusion of two words. The word of to design. That means to create project and to maintain also project. That means to ensure run, to ensure monitoring, to ensure in a operational environment that the application run well forever. That means to be a DevOps is to be also a designer and to be also a ops engineer. It enables you to reduce cost. And what about tech and qualification, you mean? Yes, of course. We can replace people who do a repetitive task as test or qualification by script, by tools that we call it continuous integration, continuous delivery. We can replace people who need test by tools with automation like Jenkins, like Maven, like Selenium. And to deploy it, we will use also an automated tools like the infra as code. Okay. This is the continuous integration, the continuous delivery, and the DevOps, which required only two roles. That means you only, instead of to hire 3 different engineers, you have just to 6 different engineers because it includes 4 engineers for each 4 environment and 2 project manager. 1 project manager in ITIL to lead the project and another 1 project manager as an officer to ensure that everyone follow the rule. This was the ITIL methodologies. But however, when we go with DevOps methodologies, we just have to hire only 1 people who is able to build, to test, to make qualification, and to integrate application in an operational environment at the same time. This is the DevOps engineer. This guy will do the job of 4 different people. And to ensure, we know this guy is very talented. We know this guy may be a geek guy, heaven, but beware, this guy has a good technical knowledge, but perhaps this guy do not communicate very well to the client. So we have to avoid that. So to manage it, let's put a product owner. This guy will ensure the role will replace the project manager. But yes, it's a project manager, but it's not in the same organization that's in ITIL. In DevOps environment, the organization is not vertical. The organization is a horizontal organization. That means everyone is on the same level. There's no chief on DevOps. A product owner, everyone work together. Like in American football, or like in rugby, if we talk about the same sport in European Union. So we talk it the Scrum. Yes, that means everyone is in the same issue. And we have to manage it together if you want to get the success, if you want to get together a successful project. This is the Scrum, Agile Scrum methodologies. Agile means together. Scrum means we are on the same level, everyone. This is the Agile Scrum, which is included in DevOps methodologies. It is the opposite of the waterfall organization and the ITIL organization, okay? That means, what is the advantage of DevOps? With DevOps, we save time and we save money. What happened concretely? If I ensure myself the ops, and if I was myself the architecture, that means if any fail happen, or if any breakdown happen in my code or in my server, I can fix it myself. I will not looking for another architect. That means it's very agile, it's very flexible, it's very quick, it saves time, it saves money, it's myself. I've designed it. And I ensure also the monitoring of the production environment and the ops environment. That's why we call you dev. To dev means to design. It's not a development that means coding. The infrastructure include code since infrastructure exists. Infrastructure include automation since we do cron tab, since we do the automation deployment with PXC or DHCP server, which enable you also to build a physical instance before Ansible, before Chief, before the current tools that we know in DevOps. For DevOps, the infrastructure as a code exists since we build shell, since we do Unix. Okay, it didn't start it with DevOps. So the DevOps means to design, to ensure the build, and to ensure also operations. That means low labor cost, of course, than until this the version free. That means it enables your boss to save money and to save time. Okay. Yes, it is a good and a flexible task. But when you do tasks so quick, when you do tasks with the same person, that means there is a conflict of interest. And the thing and your development, your application become less secured. Okay, we need another person to ensure it. We will talk. Now we can you can think about why we create after DevOps for DevSecOps. For DevSecOps is to ensure to ensure clients that we can do DevOps also, and we can secure it also later. Okay, so first, before to start DevSecOps, let's remember about DevOps. Okay, the DevOps pipeline first. When we start project, our main task is to fill our backlog dashboard. Okay. On each backlog, we will challenge every team about who does what, or who is able to do what. So we have to define task first and do the first role. Thanks to this dashboard, that we will call the Kanban dashboard, or in a software version, a Trello software, we can track every task day to day. Who does what? We can manage also the project life cycle. We can see who has to do what, who are doing what, who has finished what. Okay. On this collaborate part also, we have to communicate. We have to communicate each other with all communication tools like Slack, Teams, Jitsi for open source solution. And we have also to share each other our experiences. Thanks to knowledge management tools like Confluence, Stack Over, Reddit, and and other tools. Okay. What is the goals of collaborate? The goals of collaboration is to build together the plan of what we're gonna do, what we will do. Okay. Then we will decide how to code. When we start the task, the real task, we have also to manage what we have done. We have to make a tracking. We have to ensure traceability. We have to ensure versioning of what we have done, what we did with code, what we have deployed as a server. Okay. There's for coding, there's tools like Git for Git to manage it. You can have also CVS for old school, or AWS Code Commit for the Git server, which is available, provided by AWS on AWS Cloud. Okay. You have also the continuous integration tools like Jenkins. When you have finished to do your first code, and when you want to make a unit test, you can do it with Jenkins, and you can compile your code later with an automatic code compile to build it automatically with Maven, example for Java language, okay? And you can manage each change with the tools. These tools will enable you to log every change you've done with the tools like DB deploy, okay? It enables you to have a traceability of what you have done in your code, okay? When you finished your first code, when you have done your first test on your one code, you have to evaluate this code in the whole environment, which will interact with your code. That means you have to perform the acceptance code. It's required in other tools like Selenium. It will enable you to make this acceptance test, okay? Okay, when you finish finally your code, you need to evaluate it in an environment with an operating system, with a server also. We do not have a lot of money to spend a big size to build a big size of server or a new virtual machine. You can make it with the lowest prices. So we will test it in an evaluation server. We can do it just in a container like Docker, or another container like LXC, the open source container. When you see that your application ran very well in your server, that means in your container, which is also a server, you can perform a stress test to evaluate. Example, if it can, example, you deploy an Apache server, you can run Gmeter to evaluate what could happen if 100 people will visit your website at the same time. Could my Apache run very well as it runs currently? Yes, this is the stress test, okay? When everything is okay, you say, okay, this code ran well. It is good for me. I got the right configuration. With the right configuration, I have to save it. And maybe later I will need the same configuration. Okay, let's store this good configuration in a database. Okay, we will store it in a CMDB, the configuration management database. We arrive now in the deploy step. In the deploy step, we will store our code, our finished product in the CMDB. We have another CMDB product like Octopus Deploy, AWS Code Deploy for open, so for cloud solution. Yes, you can use also Rundeck, okay? And now you need to deploy your code, or you need to deploy your application on the first step. And on the first time, you can do it manually. That means you have to type yourself the code to deploy it, like you install my packet in a Red Hat distribution, or apt-get install my packet in a Debian distribution. You can execute this kind of code. Okay, but you will not repeat the same code later. So to avoid this, you will build an automated script. We called it the infra as code. That means it's avoid to repeat the same script on next time. So you will include this script in a set of scripts. Okay, so we have created, people have created another code, another tools called Ansible with YML language, Puppet or Terraform with HCL language or Reason language to enable people to deploy their application or their infrastructure. As I told you, the infra code existed before Ansible, existed before Puppet, because we were already able to do the same task before with shell scripting. Thanks to PXE example, to enable you to deploy physical machine thanks to DHCP server. Okay? So, all right, you've deployed your solution, you've deployed your code. Now, we will talk about the contract. Okay? To manage license, to manage contract, there's already a tools. We called it the artifact management. Those tools already exist. It is already included in the container services, in certain container services, like Docker Registry, Nexus, or AWS Elastic Container Registry, called also ECR or JFrog. Okay, everything is ready for the production. Let's run, let's deploy it in our production environment. We can deploy it on cloud. Example, we can also deploy it on premise. Example, in Europe, it is forbidden to store any personal data in American cloud, in American cloud provider. Example, I'm an European, and it is forbidden for any company to store my personal data in AWS or in Azure, everything provided by American. The company has to store this data in an on-premise cloud, which match in an on-premise cloud, which match with European regulation and compliance called GDPR. I hope everyone have already heard about GDPR. Okay, so that requires two different skills. You have to master all cloud. That means public cloud and private cloud. You have to get the multi-cloud skills. You have also to know the compliance and the regulation. That means you have to master also the SecOps. That means security and cybersecurity role. And as everyone deploy every application in cloud, you have to master also automation. That means you have to master DevOps. You have to master regulation. You have to master compliance. You have to master multi-cloud. That required a DevSecOps multi-cloud engineer. Okay, this is the introduction of what is DevSecOps. Okay, so next step, after the build, after to ensure the run in IT infrastructure is to make monitoring. To make monitoring is about to talk about Nagios, Grafana, or Splunk as a CM, or rsyslog, or ELK for open source solution as CM. You have also to ensure the scalability, and you have also to ensure the high availability with load balancing system like HA proxy, like LVS solution. Or you can also you have also to ensure instead of load balancer, you have also to ensure something like another availability with pacemaker. Okay, there are two different way of availability in infrastructure. We can have an active cluster, active cluster together, which run everyone or every time. Or you can get also two node, sorry, not two cluster, two node for one cluster, which run in half duplex mode. What does it mean half duplex mode? Like a router, while one node run, the second node has to stand by. If the first node fail, immediately the second node will take will ensure will ensure the services. Okay, this is the two different high availability mode. There is the active mode, and there is another active availability, and there is another way of availability is the passive mode and active mode. Example, you cannot run two routers at the same time, because if you run two routers at the same time, that means the two routers will distribute with the same DHCP. It can work. There will be a DHCP conflict. So only one router can be a DHCP authorities at the same time. If the first router failed, then the second router will take its place. Okay. However, if you have two web servers, the two web servers can work together, and the two web server on the two web server we will attach only one IP. We will call it the virtual IP. Okay, you can see it later when you will talk about SRE. Okay, to ensure the run. Okay, what is DevSecOps? Let's talk really about the DevSecOps methodology. The DevSecOps methodology includes the security by design. The security by design, what is it? Previously, when we do DevSecOps, the build and the run is doing by the same guy. Yes, there is a real conflict of interest. The same guy build it, and the same guy will test and validate his one design. Yes, this is the DevOps. There is a real conflict of interest. It is not safe for client. So to avoid it, we introduce on this time the DevSecOps. What include the security by design? Okay, the most important thing in DevSecOps is to secure each step. That means after each design have to be stressed, have to be tested with a pen test tool. Even before to choose or to pull your code from a Git repository, example, before to make your choice. Example, one of my clients require to have a new tools. Example, a new software tools. Okay, I know that exists already as an engineer. In my mind, I say, yes, this kind of tools exist already. I can download on a Git repository the source code, which will enable my client to get this application. Yes, good. I can find out the repository. Or I have to make sure also that the code hosted on this repository is safe. That means there's not yet any CVE, common vulnerability exposure, talking about this code yet until now. That means this code do not have any security failure or something like that. Okay, to ensure that I have to download first this code, and I have to analyze this code with SCA method, with a software composition analysis tools. which it is the first pipeline of DevSecOps. When it enable you what? It enable you what? It enable you to define the importance and the criticity of your application. Example, to provide a printer software to a client is not the same than to provide a banking software solution to another client. Why? Because it has the same criticity. So first, before to deploy your code, the most important in this methodology is also to know what really needs your client. You have to communicate with your client. You have to make an audit with your client. That requires you have to talk with the business owner to evaluate the criticity of your application. Why this criticity? This criticity will enable you to set later the service level agreement, called also SLA. This SLA enable you to say, this is a gold application, this is a silver application, or this is a bronze application. If your application is a gold application, that means this is the most important application. That means you have to ensure also, more than DevOps, you have to ensure also the SRE methodologies. That means to ensure that it will be run forever in a production environment. That require maybe a high availability tools. Example, for an Apache server, you will have to deploy a HA proxy to ensure the load balancing. You have also to deploy the 3-to-1 backup methodology to save, to ensure that all backup is available on site, but also on cloud and also in another devices than the same device on which you stored your backup. Okay, it's the 3-to-1 methodologies. So this criticity is very important in DevSecOps. We called it the security by design. That means the security starts at the beginning of the development of your application. You see there? Previously, in DevSecOps, we don't care about it. We used to let this task to product owner. We used to say, product owner, okay, go talk to the client, build the requirement sheet with the client, then you go back and we start what you need. No. On this way, the engineer also is included in the discussion with the business owner. The engineer have to know the criticity of the application. This is you have to identify at the start if everything is safe. Your source code, before to run the source code, you pull from Git, you have to evaluate it at the beginning before coding. Even before coding, ensure that there's not yet any CV published about this code. By the way, that means there's not yet any failure during the last update or during the last publication on web about any probable failure on this code. When you are sure you get and you have downloaded a safe code, then you can start your task. This is the security by design. Okay? All right. When you start your task also, as in DevOps methodology, you have to ensure traceability. What is traceability? That means ensure at the beginning, you have to write your low-level documentation and your high-level documentation. Then, example, in this use case that I am showing to you, we talk about a migration. It is a migration. A migration is a change. from an old state, from an existing architecture to another architecture. Okay. So example on this use case, I make audit on the beginning in the first here in the existing architecture. I make audit, risk analysis, and business impact. What is business impact? In security by design, business impact means what could happen if my design failed? What could happen even my design is successful, and even my design, if my design if my design run well, okay. But we never know what could happen. So if there's any breakdown, what can I do to ensure that it will run whatever happen? So I have also at the beginning of my application or my infrastructure, thanks to my evaluation of the server level assessment, I can to tell, yes, for this kind of cold application, I have to ensure 4 servers for the same application. Why 4 servers? For a load balancing solution. Okay, so it depends first on the criticality of your one application. That's why to avoid the business impact. Example, for a pharma application. We run a pharma application on cloud. Okay, everything can happen, even on cloud. Example, as during the deployment of CrowdStrike. I don't know if you remember about it. Yes, there was a breakdown in airport in United States. Okay, so to avoid this kind of situation, we have to ensure in Hanover site, on Hanover server, but the software could run forever, and we can ensure forever the services. This is the load balancing or a backup solution with a pacemaker solution example. So to avoid this kind of situation that happened with CrowdStrike, we have to evaluate what could happen on our business. If we fail, people will not take their flight. Most of people will lost money, and you could be fired. So to avoid this kind of situation, I have to ensure many security in my design. This is the concept of security by design. It is included in DevSecOps. At the start of your task, you have to ensure everything is safe. Okay? When the code you've downloaded is safe, you can define right now the plan to deploy it. And when you have defined successfully the plan, okay, this plan could work today. And what could happen if this plan does not work? We have also to ensure the rollback plan. Even you've downloaded the right code, even you have already checked out that this code is safe. Whatever you got as a result, you have to ensure another rollback plan if something happens. Remember, it's the same thing, the security by design. All right. We've done the first step of the migration. We will do our test. Previously, in DevOps, when you do our test, our first test, we did unit test and acceptance tests. But unit and acceptance tests do not include security tests. Previously in DevOps, Jenkins or JUnit or Selenium. These are just tools, but these tools do not include any security test. These tools are evaluate only if your code are clear or correct. But after perform the tests with JUnit, with Selenium, you have to pen test again your code that required a static application security testing. That means you have to run another step of DevSecOps. We called it the SAST step. The SAST step in DevSecOps enable you to pen test your static code. Okay? All right, we have finished the SAST test. My code and everything run on production. It run. It is on Tina. We execute the code right now. It is on dynamic application security testing. Even my application run in production, I have to test it. Everything can happen. I used to deploy the DAST step. The DAST step is the dynamic application security testing tools in the DevSecOps pipeline. It enables me to check at any time if my application or my infrastructure are safe. Okay? If everything is good, we can validate build, we can validate the production, we can validate our code with the business owner. Okay, to sum up, previously, you can find out on this slide everything I talked previously. Before to start your code, your main task is to first to identify your application. Who is the business owner? How many user will use this application? Service hour of this application? The kind of this application, is it a banking application? Is not the same criticality than a printer application. If it's a banking application, does this require the compliance or any regulation rule? Like GDPR, like Sarbanes-Oxley, like GXP regulation for pharma industry, you know? Depends on criticality. You have to define the importance of your application. If it's a gold, if it's required the gold importance, that means the most important application, or a silver or a bronze application, to define the service level agreement. Why? This is very important to define the importance of application. If your application generates much turnover, much money, you have to ensure it will run forever, whatever situation. You have to ensure load balancing. You have to ensure to hire any SRE engineer with DevOps engineer. And maybe you will need also DevSecOps engineer if there's any compliance or any regulation law required to build your application. Okay. So it's enable you, the SLI enable you also to plan your recovery time in case of breakdown. Example. It's enable you to minimize impact, because if you didn't plan any backup tools or any backup system to save your application or your infrastructure against any breakdown, the impact could be, as it happens with CrowdStrike, a financial loss, any image or reputation loss. You can have an issue with regulation, It could be make a public health damage also, if it is about pharma application or about hospital application. Okay, that's why you have to plan everything before. The security by design is very important. Okay, this is the standard DevSecOps pipeline that includes the SCA at the beginning before to code your application, before to start your task. Ensure first and check first that the software on which you will build your application is a safe code, is a safe software, or a safe infrastructure. Make a test with audit tools like Sonar Type, like JFrog X-Ray, or like NPM Audit. These tools enable you to make sure that any code source or any application or any infrastructure that you will use to reply on the needs of your client or customer are safe. Okay? Then when you start your code, you finished your first code, you have to evaluate it. Previously in DevOps, we evaluate and test our first code with Jenkins for unit tests, with Selenium, example, for acceptance test. These tools are only for technical tests. These tools didn't include any security test. So thanks with SAST tools like Fortify, Checkmarks, or Veracode, you can check out if your first build also as the code is safe. Okay? No, you execute your code in Docker, example, in Docker environment. You want to evaluate it concretely in a server. It is running currently in a server. You have also to test it when it's running in the server with a dynamical tools like the Dust tools, as you can see here, like Burp Suite or AppSider. It is the continuous improvement with security by design. This is the DevSecOps. And as I told previously, you can include also, you can include also, after Dust tools, an interactive tools, which is the top 10 OWASP. Example, if you have deployed a LAMP server with a web server, you can evaluate the security of your front end inside your Apache server or your backend inside your DB server. You can evaluate the SQL server. You can evaluate also the Apache server with top 10 OWASP. That include, and you can evaluate also the encryption. You can evaluate also the authentication. You know, the top 10 OWASP tools is a complete tools to enable you, example, it's just an example of tools to evaluate in a dynamical application test your delivery. All right? Okay. These are the tools. We were talking about tools. We were talking about methodologies. However, remember, the first breach of security is not the tools, is not the application. It remains the human being. It remains the user. If you want to secure your application, if you want to secure a software, train first the user and train yourself. So the continuous improvement called in Japanese language, the Kaizen. Kaizen is the fusion of two words. Kai, that means better, and then Kai, that means change, and then that means better, which means change for better, called Kaizen methodology, is the first approach of the continuous improvement. So you have also to improve yourself. That means you have also to get a new skills, to adapt to a new technology. That means train yourself. And then you can train the user. Then you can make evangelization. And you have also to learn and to apply the best practice. You have also to ensure the monitor technological development. That means like we are doing currently to attend this webinar. It enables you to know a new thing, maybe for some of you who didn't master yet DevSecOps. And why not later? The evolution of DevSecOps is the NOOPS. What is NOOPS? NOOPS is the no operation engineer. That means you will never need, you will need no more any operation engineer to ensure the run. Why? Because infrastructure become a smart infrastructure with augmented intelligence, AI, with proactive solution, thanks to real-time data analysis, with SIEM tools and SOAR tools. This kind of methodology, perhaps, will be the next webinar, what we will do. Thanks a lot for this webinar. Is there any question?
Great. Thank you very much, Raymond, for such an insightful session. I would love to request participants, please drop your questions in the chat box so we can take it from there. And until then, I can see the questions that we have got across live. Matthew, he's asking, what are common mistakes teams make when adopting SRE principles, and how can they be avoided early on?
Okay, can you share on my screen the question, please?
Sure. Give me a minute.
Okay.
I've shared it over the chat box.
Okay. Let me check. As I told you about SRE, nothing is perfect. I don't want to pretend to know each mistake on SRE. Everything can happen, even in production environment. The best way is for knowledge management. You have to share your own experiences with everybody. It enables you to define the best practice. A best practice is not a methodology. A methodology do not appear like that. A methodology was created by the experience of each one. Each people who work together and who build and define guys to deploy, example, this application, let's do on this way, not on the previous way. Everything changed quickly in IT. We live in a new technology. We are living in a new technology. So currently, the most feedback I get even in SRE, the most mistake remain the communication. Improve first the communication, knowledge management, and training. Everything, the technology change every time. Previously, we talked about 5 years ago, people use in their endpoint some software that we called antivirus. Antivirus is an obsolete tool currently. We've replaced antivirus with EDR. What is EDR? EDR is the endpoint, the new endpoint solution, endpoint protection solution, which enable people to have a real-time analysis and the smart tools with AI, which analyze and which protect the endpoint. That means desktop. That means smartphone. That include also server. That include any devices as an endpoint devices. It enable you to have real time and real updated software at any time, which is able to protect your devices. Previously, to protect our devices, the software designer or the software provider told us, make sure you have made the update of your antivirus. Now, currently, we do not need update anymore. Update is too late. Update could happen after 1 month, but currently, at this moment, what could happen? At this moment, my augmented intelligence, I do not talk about artificial intelligence because it's remain a device. It's not intelligence. It is an automation. It remain an automation way. So your augmented intelligence will analyze the behavior of your endpoint or your desktop with its algorithm. And it will analyze on a real time your user behavior also. If it's remain on the best way, everything is safe. Another behavior from outside will be blocked directly from the algorithm. That is the current solution on each endpoint. Another question?
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Raman. That was a very detailed explanation. Yes, we have got another question from Ahmed. Is asking, how can organizations measure security agility as a key performance indicator in DevSecOps
Yes.
maturity models?
Yes. Yes. When you make a monthly report with your delivery manager, when you make a steering committee with C-level, I don't know, not C-level, with CTO at the highest, the sales or the account manager will show us a reporting which includes the key performance indicator. That means the KPI. Currently, we have tools who can provide a real key performance indicator. This kind of tools is provided by real-time analysis tools like SIEM, Security Information and Event Management. Thanks with SIEM like Splunk, or with another SIEM like ELK, or like QRadar, or like Dynatrace, or like Azure Sentinel, you will get automatically an automatic reporting with KPI, which will show you how many failure, how many security failure did you get, the quality of your services, and the behavior of your infrastructure. Okay, you do not need anymore any sales or any account manager. You can lie, who can lie, or who can make the showman inside of everyone. You can get a real tools with a real time and a concrete response of to fill your KPI. I don't know if I reply on your question.
Absolutely. Thank you very much,
Thank
Raman.
you.
Can see one more question from Makaila. To what extent does shifting security left reduce technical depth versus creating new complexity trade-offs?
What are common mistake? I saw it. Does this question, can you repeat the question, please? Don't be so quick.
Sure,
Right
sure.
time.
So, to what extent does shifting security left reduce technical depth versus creating new complexity trade-offs?
Trade-offs. What do you mean with trade-offs? Can you explain me it? Complexity trade-offs.
Makala, we have a request from speaker. Can you elaborate your question a little bit so we can answer, we are able to answer it?
Can you explain me what you mean with complexity of trade-offs, please? Another way to tell what you.
Sure, we'll wait for it. And meanwhile, we can take the another question that we have got. By adapting DevOps and DevSecOps practices, organizations can deliver high quality, secure software faster and more efficiently. Does it has any implication?
Yes. The implication, yes, it has. First, DevSecOps include DevOps with security by design. Okay, but it's include also the responsibility of the architect. The architect is in the game. The architect has to communicate with every stakeholder. Previously, when we talk about DevOps, a DevOps engineer never communicate with an end user or with a client. This role is to communicate with client. This role is the role of this task is the task of product owner only. The DevOps team have to stay in data center, in their own office. They never see or never meet the client. But the DevSecOps engineer or the DevSecOps architect is responsible of what he built, of what he designed. That means also, if something happens, if something happens, if there's any breakdown, if there's any fail on his design or on his infrastructure, the first responsible is the DevSecOps engineer. It's different of the DevOps engineer. The first responsible, the first, in case of example breakdown in DevOps methodology, was the product owner. The client can complain against and has to complain only against the product owner in DevOps methodologies. But in DevSecOps methodologies, the client can communicate directly with the DevSecOps engineer. Is it, do I reply on your questions?
Absolutely. I think, Raman, we have got the question again from the Makaila, the earlier question. So trade-offs is something fixing one issue but creating another. Complexity trade-off fixing.
All right. Yes. Okay. It's true. Yes, that's happened on DevSecOps. In DevSecOps, when you make any change, as we talk about waterfall previously, when we talk about waterfall or ITIL methodologies, ITIL, let's remember, it's information technology infrastructure library. It was the first first methodology or best practice for infrastructure for infrastructure engineer for infrastructure people in IT. When we did or when we design software or application in waterfall methodologies, if there's any failure, we have to roll back everything from the beginning. It's the same in DevSecOps. If we fail or we make any change, we have to restart all DevSecOps pipeline. It's not like DevOps. We have to redo at the beginning. Yes, if we fix one issue, if we make one change, if we do not pen test this change can create another issue. That's why in DevSecOps, as we've done in waterfall and in ITIL methodology, we have to restart the DevSecOps pipeline. Again, the SCA. Okay, I've made this change. I redo again the DevSecOps tests. Every time, every change done, you restart the pipeline. Do I reply on your question?
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Raman. I hope that answers the question. Here we are stopping with the Q&A. I would love to request all the participants, if we miss any question or if you have any question in your mind, please feel free to reach out to our speaker. I have already shared his LinkedIn profile link in the chat box. So
yes,
refer to that and reach out to him. Before I proceed further with the closing, Raman would love to hear final thoughts from you for all our participants today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Pretam. And sorry, because it's the second time for me. At the end, I'm available. I have to do this conference before, and I would like to do my apologies here for everyone. Because in France, I was in south side of France, and for my vacation, and during this vacation, we've got bad weather, bad forecast weather. We flew in, and my flight was cancelled. That's why I redo on this time today this webinar. So I would like to say again my apologies for the previous day. Sorry. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Pretam.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Raman. And we are glad that you have returned safely. We were aware about your flight. So sorry about the situation, but glad to see you here in the session, and we'll be definitely reaching out to you again for future sessions in the GSDC. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
So
Bye.
thank you. So yes, in the chat box, I've mentioned earlier that we do have some great announcement for all of you, that this is regarding the certification that GSDC has for every one of you. This is regarding the featured session that we today had, which is DevSecOps SRE for the next generation reliability. Here you can opt out for any of the certification, Certified Site Reliability Engineering Foundation, DevOps Foundation, DevSecOps Foundation, or Certified DevOps Practitioner. So you can opt out for this. You can grab this opportunity. You can use this promo code, which is DevOps20, to get an amazing discount. As you all know that the certifications are lifetime validated certification, comes along with the learning resources, with the flexibility, and you'll be getting chance to connect with our training partner, and you'll be getting an opportunity to work on the capstone project, that is real-time AI simulation practice. So do grab this opportunity and sign up yourself for this amazing certification program. I've already shared the link in the chat box, so you can check it out.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Would love to tell you all. Yes.
Sorry.
So also, no worries. Also, would love to tell you all about the utility tool that GSDC has introduced earlier. You can use this tool to improve your LinkedIn profile score. You can build your personal brand. You can improve your skills. It will give improvement tips on the skills for the skills. Also, you can use the promo code, which is August100, to get an 100% discount. And this is only for our webinar attendees. So do grab this opportunity. You'll find the utility tool details in the chat box along with the link. Also, I'm very pleased to inform you all, tomorrow we'll be having session of Mandy Walls. She'll be presenting the topic that is automating incident response and revolution in SRE. So please do join us. This session happening on 11th September, that is tomorrow, with the same time slot, that is 8:30 a.m. CST. Also, you all must be aware that we are running this AI tool challenge for 28 days. Out of that, we have already done with 16 challenges. And we do have this amazing panel of AI expert who will be giving demo session and practical walkthrough. So please do join us. This is happening at the time slot, that is 10:30 a.m. CST. So exact after 30 minutes, we'll be having this session. So love to see you all for the AI tool challenge session as well. Also, you can refer your friends and colleagues to this amazing webinar series, and by doing that, you can earn rewards that is up to $400. And remember one thing, referring people to knowledgeable session, you're already taking a step ahead and you are becoming a thoughtful leader. And by doing that, you can also enhance your credibility. And guess what? Top 3 winners will be featured on the Wall of Fame, GSDC Wall of Fame. So would love to show you all quickly how the leaderboard looks like, how you can check how much points that you have earned so far by referring maximum people. Just give me a minute so I can quickly show you all. So simply you just have to access our event web page link. Give me a minute. Here we are. I hope my screen is visible to you all. So you can simply access our event web page where you can able to see this detail. And here you just have to scroll down a little bit. In the search bar, you can search your name and you can see how much points that you have earned so far. So as I mentioned, do refer maximum people. And one more thing, that we'll be announcing all the winners at the end of this weekend, because we'll be ending the session at this weekend. So you can still refer maximum people as we still have a time. So coming back to my main slide, as would love to announce that we do have these 3 winners who have topped at our leaderboard by referring maximum people to our session. So Rakesh Ranjan, Amit Lonkar, and Janmesh Kale. So congratulations to you all. We'll be getting back to you with the rewards. Also, if you want to be a speaker for our upcoming events as a featured global speaker, you can get in touch with us, as we do have platform like Learning Capsule, webinar, and the podcast. At last, would love to connect with you all over the social media. You can scan this QR to get in touch with over the LinkedIn. You can explore our website, that is www.gsdcouncil.org, to get more information and offerings from the GSDC. Also, you can get in touch with our WhatsApp group to get daily update on the events and webinars. And do not forget to share your session takeaway and the learning outcomes on the Trustpilot. You'll find the link in the chat box. So thank you everyone for joining today's session. Thank you, Raman. I hope to see you all for the upcoming session.
Pritam,
Yes?
please, can you share me also this video, please? Because my recording didn't work.
No worries, Raman. I'll get back to you with the recordings. I'll share it over the email. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.